government power to build individual businesses. Case study.
Rahul Gandhi roars in the house.
मगर प्रधानमंत्री जी इजराइल जाते हैं और उसके एकदम बाद अदानी जी को ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मिल जाता है.
Opens fire on the Adani episode.
हिंदुस्तान की सरकार और हिंदुस्तान के प्रधानमंत्री जी ने फैसिलिटेट किया.
Trains guns directly at Prime Minister Modi. After Rafale is Adani Rahul's issue number one. Rahul hoping Yatra plus Adani will equal to votes. India's number one political team decodes on 5 Live.
Good evening and welcome to 5 Live. I'm Shiv Arur. The long-awaited Rahul Gandhi speech that took place in Parliament today. India's number one political team is going to be joining me in just a short while. He's going to decode it for you. Less than 400 days to go for the big 2024 election, and many are wondering whether Adani is Mudda number one for Rahul Gandhi going onto the road to 2024. All of that and much more coming up ahead. Thanks for tuning in. The headlines first. Rahul launches a scathing attack on UP Chief Minister Yogi, calls him a thug, claims Yogi has no knowledge of the Hindu religion. Yogi responds. Victoria Gowri takes oath as Madras High Court judge. Top court dismisses plea against the elevation of Gowri as a High Court judge, says stalling her as judge just because she's a member of the BJP will be disrespect to the collegium. Aam Aadmi Party stages massive protest against BJP over mayoral polls in elections in Delhi. Aam Aadmi Party demands Supreme Court monitored mayor elections. Death toll in the Turkey-Syria earthquake mounts to above 5,000 in one of the biggest tragedies in the world. Thousands of buildings reduced to rubble as 4 earthquakes hit Turkey in just over 24 hours. We've got a big special 1-hour broadcast coming up at 6 p.m. Pakistan cricket legend Javed Miandad's shocking anti-India rant says "Bhaad mein jaye India" as BCCI refuses to go to Terroristan for the Asia Cup for obvious reasons. And we start first with the Adani group. Remember, Adani was front and center in Parliament today as part of Rahul Gandhi's big attack on the Modi government. But first, in the interest of investors, those who've been impacted with all the turbulence that's been taking place on the stock market, let's update you on where the Adani stocks are right now in today's day of trading. The markets closed a short while ago, so let's show you the 10 stocks that trade on India's stock exchanges and where they close today. Take a look. Adani Enterprises was up 14.64%. Adani Ports 1.41% up. Adani Wilmar also 5% up. Adani Power and Green Energy were 5% down on the stock markets today. Meanwhile, Adani Transmission also marginally down. Adani Total Gas 5% down on the stock markets. NDTV, Ambuja Cements and ACC registered growth. They were up. So there's a 12,000 crore rupee increase in MCAP or market capitalization in the last 24 hours. So have things stabilized or is there still some turbulence ahead? Let's go straight across to business today's Sakshi Batra, who's been looking very closely not just at the counters but also all of the developments surrounding the Adani Group. Sakshi, looking at the counters and generally what's being heard from the markets, what did today look like? It's looking like it's going to be each day as it comes as far as the Adani Group is concerned.
Absolutely, Shiv. You've hit the nail on the head each day as it comes. But today was definitely a slightly better day because after 8 days of continuous free fall that we've seen on the Adani Group stocks, the group finally seems to be gaining its footing on the stock markets after being hammered for more than 2 weeks following the report released by the US short seller Hindenburg Research. Now, the shares in the flagship firm Adani Enterprises rocketed as much as 25% today on an intraday basis, clawing back some of its recent huge losses after the group had mentioned that it would repay the pledge shares. So that was one reason why the stocks were jumping today. Of course, the recovery is also happening due to a variety of factors like the prepayment, the short covering, and the technicals also. Apart from this, we also had three results that actually came about. Adani Transmission posting 73% of a rise on the net profit front. Ambuja Cement, the Q3 results posted 46% growth in the net profit front, 369 crore rupees as well. Although Adani Ports missed slightly the street estimates, but there is again, good assumptions that,
Yes.
Adani Green will also be posting some good results right there too. Remember, Adani Group lost about $1 billion in value after the report was released. But today's rise in Adani Enterprises and several of the other units that you also talked about, the losses have been down to $112 billion. And Adani is again climbing up the world's billionaire index, and it's back again in the top.
Okay, very interesting. So things appear to be marginally stabilizing. Definitely a better day today than it has been over the last few days, especially after Hell Week last week. Sakshi Batra, thanks very much for joining us and keeping track of that story. Now, we've shown you how the counters of the Adani Group closed on the stock markets. Let's get down to what happened in Parliament today, because that has been the epicenter of the real attacks and politics. No end, obviously, to the Adani storm, with Congress MP Rahul Gandhi, fresh from his Bharat Jodo Yatra, launching a scathing attack on the Modi government in Parliament on the Adani episode. Rahul Gandhi questioned how the net worth of Gautam Adani grew exponentially from 8 billion in 2014 to 140 billion in 2022. He focused his attack on the relationship between Gautam Adani and the Prime Minister. Take a look at the big takeaways, the highlights of what Rahul Gandhi said in Parliament.
रूल था कि अगर कोई एयरपोर्ट बिजनेस में नहीं था तो वो इन एयरपोर्ट्स को ले नहीं सकता था। इस रूल को हिंदुस्तान की सरकार ने बदला। किसी ने भी बनाया हो रूल था, किसी ने भी बनाया हो रूल था। रूल बनाया किसने बात नहीं है, रूल बदला किसने बात है। ये देखिए रिश्ता, ये देख लीजिए प्लीज। तो नहीं स्पीकर सर, वो फोटो है सर, वो पोस्टर नहीं है।
आप वरिष्ठ सदस्य हैं,
प्राइम मिनिस्टर की फोटो है सर, उसमें बहुत उनका अच्छा चेहरा दिख रहा है। उनके वहां पे उनके पीछे अदानी का लोगो है, अदानी जी के हवाई जहाज में घुस रहे हैं। ये पूछते थे कि ये जो अदानी जी हैं, ये किसी भी बिजनेस में घुस जाता है, ये सफलता प्राप्त कर जाता है, ये कभी फेल नहीं होता। और युवाओं ने मुझसे ये सवाल पूछा कि भाई ये हो क्या रहा है, हम भी सीखना चाहते हैं। मोदी जी ने कहा स्टार्टअप करो, हम भी अदानी जी जैसे बनना चाहते हैं। अदानी जी का जो नेटवर्थ है वो 3 साल के अंदर, नहीं सॉरी 2014 से लेकर 2022 तक ये $8 बिलियन से $140 बिलियन कैसे हो गया, कैसे हुआ। तो ये लिस्ट आती है, एक लिस्ट आती है दुनिया के सबसे अमीर लोगों की। इस पे ये 609 नंबर पे थे 14 में, 609 पीछे बिल्कुल। पता नहीं जादू हुआ, दूसरे नंबर पे पहुंच गए।
मोदी है तो मुमकिन है।
एल्बिट कंपनी के साथ हिंदुस्तान में अदानी जी ड्रोन्स बनाते हैं। ड्रोन्स को हिंदुस्तान की एयरफोर्स, आर्मी, नेवी के लिए रीफिट करते हैं। अदानी जी ने यह काम कभी नहीं किया है पहले। एचएल ये काम करती है। हिंदुस्तान में और भी कंपनीज हैं जो ये काम करती हैं, मगर प्रधानमंत्री जी इजराइल जाते हैं और उसके एकदम बाद अदानी जी को ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मिल जाता है। व्हेन मोस्ट ऑफ इंडियाज बिजनेस वाज asking questions of the Prime Minister, was against the Prime Minister. One man stood shoulder to shoulder with the Prime Minister. Didn't back down. That's commendable. He helped Mr. Modi construct the idea of resurgent Gujarat. Right? The idea that you bring these businessmen together, and you call it resurgent Gujarat, vibrant Gujarat, they're both. And he was the backbone in setting up that group of people.
Now, after Rahul Gandhi's back-to-back attacks, Modi government ministers came out all guns blazing to dismiss the charges, obviously, against the Prime Minister as baseless. The Saffron Party has also released several pictures of Priyanka Gandhi's husband Robert Vadra's meetings with Gautam Adani, questioning their links. You can just imagine how many different loops this entire political fight is going into. Take a look.
पोर्ट का प्राइवेटाइजेशन तो उनके समय हुआ, ऐसी कोई पार्टी थी जिसका अनुभव था? ये कौन सी बात कर रहे हैं?
सर, ये यहाँ बहुत गंभीर मिनिस्टर हैं, ये देश के राष्ट्रपति का उद्बोधन को लेकर एक गंभीर चर्चा हो रही है. जो भी मेंबर कुछ भी बात करे विद फुल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑथेंटिकेट करे. और ये वाइल्ड एलिगेशन अपना एक सोच के आया है, बिना तर्क के ऐसे वाइल्ड एलिगेशन लगा रहे हैं, ये कोई मतलब नहीं है सर. ये ऐसे नहीं बोल सकते, और वो सर तर्क रखना पड़ेगा. अगर एलिगेशन लगा रहे हैं तो आपको पूरा डॉक्यूमेंट प्रूफ के साथ आपको रखना पड़ेगा. दे देंगे. आप ऐसे बातें नहीं दे देंगे, और ये गंभीरता को समझिए. ये
डॉक्यूमेंट्री प्रूफ दे देंगे.
मैं इनको चैलेंज करता हूं कि जीएमआर और जीवीके उसको कब एयरपोर्ट का जो है संचालन का अधिकार था और कौन सा रूल है वो कोर्ट करे सर. इस रोल के आधार पर ये इनको मैं चैलेंज करता हूं, पूरी कांग्रेस पार्टी को चैलेंज करता हूं कि जीएमआर और जीवीके को कौन सा एयरपोर्ट चलाने का लाइसेंस जब दिया तो उनको उसका नॉलेज था. मैं चैलेंज करता हूं पूरी कांग्रेस पार्टी को. जब इन्होंने बिरला को बनाने का दिया, डालमिया को बनाने का दिया, टाटा को बनाने का दिया लाइसेंस, उस वक्त उनको कौन सा मोटर चलाने का अधिकार था सर. ये गलत बयानी कर रहे हैं. मेरा ये कहना है कि आप एलिगेशन प्रधानमंत्री के ऊपर लगा रहे हैं, आप पेपर दीजिए और कौन सा रूल भारत सरकार ने चेंज किया एयरपोर्ट में अडानी के लिए वो ऑथेंटिकेट कीजिए, नहीं तो इस तरह की बात नहीं कर सकते.
I'm going to be joined in a moment by India Today's #1 political team, the best election reporting team in the country that's getting into one of the biggest years. But today is a milestone day. Rahul Gandhi has finally spoken. Before I go to my colleagues, let me just recap for all of our viewers, in case you missed it when Rahul Gandhi was speaking, the basic questions that he's actually asking. Some of them are rhetorical, some of them are pointed, some of them are political, but all of them aggressively asked. Number one, how many times did Prime Minister Modi and Gautam Adani travel together is question number one. How many times did Adani accompany you abroad? Rahul Gandhi is asking the Prime Minister. How many times did Adani land after you in foreign countries? How many of these countries have given contracts to Adani? Asks Rahul Gandhi. And how much money has Adani given to the BJP? So these are the questions that Rahul Gandhi pointedly asked in his speech today in Parliament. Now let's go straight across to the team reporting and the most watched political reporting team in the country, especially in election season. Joining me live is Rajdeep Sardesai, our consulting editor. Also with me is Poulomi Saha, Preeti Chaudhary, editors, all of them looking very closely at all of these political developments, especially in a year where there are going to be 10 elections and then the big one in 2024. Rajdeep, coming to you first for opening comments from all of you, what did you think of Rahul's speech?
You know, Shiv, Rahul Gandhi, I think, came to Parliament today with a three-point agenda. And the three-point agenda was Adani, Adani and Adani. It was not a typical response to a motion of thanks to the President's address speech, where you generally talk about a variety of issues. You may raise rising prices, unemployment, land acquisition, the kind of issues that Rahul Gandhi has raised in the past. This time, single point agenda, I will try and suggest or send out the message that Prime Minister Modi and Gautam Adani are joined at the hip, that Mr. Adani has been given undue favors by Prime Minister Modi. Now, you will recall, Shiv, this has been a steady stream of thought of Rahul Gandhi over the last decade. Hum do, hamare do. He was pointed at times, he was rhetorical at times. So, for example, when he asked specific questions, how many times have you, Mr. Modi, travelled together with Adani ji? How many times has Mr. Adani ji joined you later on foreign trips? He referred specifically to the chairman of the Sri Lanka Electricity Board informing a parliamentary committee in Sri Lanka that he was allegedly pressurized to give a contract to Mr. Adani. When he spoke of the manner in which GVK handed over Mumbai airport to Adani, what was he trying to do? He was trying to create the perception that there is enough out there to suggest that Mr. Adani has got undue favors. He chose not to therefore focus on any other issue, even when he spoke on defense, when he spoke on foreign policy in the past. You've seen Ashiv, he's spoken about China. This time it was only Adani. So given what's happened with the Hindenburg report, the meltdown in Adani shares, he perhaps thought this is the moment to strike. I don't know when I'll get next a moment like this in Parliament, and thereby I can set the tone for possibly this election season by sending out the message that this government is guilty of cronyism. So it was at one level pointed, but there were also the usual flashes of rhetoric that perhaps were more generalized. But I think the overall message was very clear. The Congress party is determined to keep the attack on the government on the Adani issue.
Has it found Mudda number 1 for 2024? Many of those things that Rahul Gandhi said also, very similar to some of the things he said, the tone which he used as well in the 2018-2019 campaign as well. Preeti, bringing you in, what was your reading of the speech? What were the big takeaways for you?
Takeaway is that Rahul Gandhi is at least consistent in what he thinks will strike. Why I feel it's different, Shiv, than what has gone down before with, say, his Rafale attack, because not many people quite understood Rafale. So not many people really understand what Hindenburg is or what FPO is and all of that. But, when you're going home and telling them that, okay, maybe your policy with the LIC might create an issue. So with Rahul Gandhi, he's trying to take it to the masses with what he is doing. Will he be consistent? Well, till now, you have to give him that Rahul Gandhi was possibly the first political leader to raise the issue of do udyogpati. Many of the elections he's gone to and lost. He stuck to the point of ye Adani Ambani ki sarkar hai. Will he succeed in driving the point home in terms of tagging the failure of Adani Enterprise to the Prime Minister remains to be seen, Shiv, because if we go back to 2019, the coinage of Chaukidar Chor hai actually backfired for Rahul Gandhi and for the Congress. Will it work this time around? Well, there is at least a consistent attack by Rahul Gandhi and he stuck to it, if you know. Even the entire farmers' agitation movement, and there could be traction if one suggests. One of the biggest issues where the farmer agitation was, if you would go, you'd speak to them. One issue that had stuck, which had come from political leaderships at that time, was Adani Ambani ki sarkar. Ye udyogpatiyon ki sarkar hai. So this time around, Rahul Gandhi hoping to drive the point home. Will he be successful? Of course, remains to be seen.
Crony capitalism has been, a calling card as far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned. That consistency was there, as far as Rafale and Anil Ambani in 2018 and 2019. Will it be that way, this way as well? Poulomi, coming to you, we saw, some of the counter-attack from the BJP side in Parliament today. What are you hearing? What's the buzz from the BJP about what Rahul Gandhi's speech today put forth?
Well, as far as the BJP is concerned, you already see, Shiv, how the BJP is countering Rahul Gandhi's narrative that this is all about Adani's alleged closeness with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and that the Prime Minister is shielding the Adani group as it, of course, faces its crisis off the back of the Hindenburg research report and the sort of downfall that its market value has seen in the last week or so. You saw the BJP put out pictures over there as far as, Adani's closeness with other Congress leaders are concerned. The images with former Kerala Chief Minister Umin Chandi, with Ashok Gehlot, with Robert Vadra as well. The BJP is also trying to send out the message over here that clearly it's not about if that is, because you have to, Rahul Gandhi will have to break it down for the people of the country if he has to, if he wants this to somehow in a sense, this narrative to go down with the people and them to sort of feel like, oh my God, my money is stuck because the Prime Minister is favoring a rich businessman. He will have to break it down for the people. And here the BJP is trying to, counter that narrative, saying, if you're talking about his closeness with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, allegedly shielding him, then here are these other images as well. We do know that the Adani group has interests across 22 states of the country, and many of them have still not spoken up very clearly. Ashok Gehlot has not said anything. Mamata Banerjee, when she speaks about this entire Hindenburg report, and the TMC, of course, is picking it up in Parliament, but when Mamata Banerjee speaks about the Hindenburg report, she talks about fraud, she talks about stock market manipulation, and she talks about a big corporate house, and she attacks the Prime Minister, but she won't name the company. So clearly, it shows that everyone is, everyone's looking at their own reasons and interests, and when they, of course, go about attacking such a big behemoth of a company.
Yeah, and nobody actually saying Adani, in any of the defenses that we've seen so far yesterday at the budget roundtable as well. Rahul Srivastava, National Affairs Editor, also with us. Rahul, could this be one of the dominant themes going into 2024? About 350 days left, lots of elections coming up this year as well. Soot boot ki sarkar, crony capitalism, as Preeti said, udyogpatiyon ki sarkar, all of those things. Do you think there's going to be a consistency now to what Rahul Gandhi puts forth?
Shiv, if you remember that Democratic newsroom we did with you, and I had said that the Congress and the opposition needs Modi to make a mistake. And right now, if you look at it, they are treating this as Adani as an association with Prime Minister as a mistake.
Interesting.
That Prime Minister Narendra Modi has made. And they are going full steam ahead on that very line. Now, what is the idea? If you see, Adani is the reason, but the target is Prime Minister Narendra Modi. I think at the signing off, he said, Pradhan Mantri ko gold medal milna chahiye. That is the target, Shiv. The idea here is, he started with unemployment, his yatra. I think the yatra has done him good. I think there was a certain degree of lack of impatience, which I used to see in Rahul Gandhi's speeches in Parliament. I think he took on opposition. He let them shout at him, run him down, but he waited for his turn. And I think what he has managed to do is deliver a message which started with unemployment, Agniveer. Then he brings in RSS. Then he brings in Amit Shah, the Home Ministry, dictating what the army should be doing. That point is cannot be ignored, Shiv. Then he talks about how Adani helped Modi in a time when nobody was with Narendra Modi. So this is a loyalty element playing in politics till date. Then he talks about defense contracts, how airports are controlled by Adani, 30% odd stake, 27 in passenger, 31 in cargo. Going to buy Adani airports. Then he talks about the defense sector. This is a matter of national security. You recall, he said it. Then he talks about India's foreign policy, Israel, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, all these elements thrown in. So what is he doing? All that has worked for Narendra Modi. He's attacking that vis-a-vis Adani. Integrity, national security, foreign policy, crony capitalism, you say, the tirade against what Modi's government says it has carried out against it. All those elements, he has attacked Modi on that. The idea is to create a linkage between poverty, unemployment, people's money in LIC, although because he talked about 27,000 crore or 36,000 crore in LIC. Now, 36,000 Shiv, exposure in LIC is chicken feed. It's nothing. So that's a, but he has tried to present a narrative which is very visible now.
Okay. Rahul, thanks very much for that. Rajdeep, final question to you before we wrap up. I wanted to ask you what the opposition parties, because opposition unity has been a bit of a struggle, especially in recent weeks and months that we've seen. How would the opposition parties be looking at Rahul Gandhi's speech today, coming on the back of that yatra?
Shiv, and I think Paulomi made this point, Gautam Adani today has interests in more than 22 states and counting. These include Trinamool Congress-led government in Bengal, it includes the Kerala government of Pinarayi Vijayan, it includes Congress governments in Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. And if you see most of the noise and the anger at the moment against the Adanis, or the narrative against the Adanis, is coming from Delhi, from the Central Congress spokespersons, not so much from the state chief ministers. And importantly, if you look at the other parties, the Trinamool Congress has been a little bit more cautious before it starts calling for a JPC. You've got Aam Aadmi Party and the BRS much more aggressive. So every political party is positioning itself. In this particular sort of battle, which is really a proxy battle against Mr. Modi, Adani is caught in the middle of that. Rahul Gandhi has one advantage over other opposition leaders, that he has been consistently raising this issue. So today when the Hindenburg report comes, he can say, I told you so, and thereby create the perception. This is a perceptual battle.
Yes,
if you actually
absolutely.
look at factual information, you could argue some of the facts that were put out was slightly misleading. For example, when Rahul Gandhi said that, you cannot give airport contracts unless you have prior experience, the exact policy said you needed a foreign partner. That's how GVK and GMR got the contracts in 2005. When the next round of tenders came in, Adani did get 6 airports, and then, of course, controversially took over the GVK airport. So what Rahul Gandhi is essentially doing is sending out a message, I think, Shiv, that he is the one leader who is consistently targeting what he calls crony capitalism, hum do hamare do, and therefore if income inequalities becomes an election issue, then he has the advantage. The problem, Shiv, and this is the final point, is that in the past he's tried Soot Boot Ki Sarkar, in the past he's tried Chaukidar Chor Hai, but it's never resonated because A, the organization has never been able to take it to the people, he's not been consistent about it, and in a way he hasn't been able to establish direct links with Prime Minister Modi. On Adani, perceptually, he can. Because on Adani, the Prime Minister himself has never sort of hidden his special relationship with Mr. Adani. You will recall 2014 coming to Delhi in Adani's private plane when he was to be sworn in as Prime Minister. So the perception, the optics are being used by Rahul Gandhi, and the rest of the opposition may only be playing catch up, or will slowly distance themselves from any direct attack on Adani, given the fact that he has assets and interests in their states.
So we'll have to see whether after Chaukidar Chor Hai and some of the other slogans, Adani Aapke Hain Kaun, has a stickiness factor. Thank you very much, Rajdeep, Rahul, Preeti and Poulomi, for joining me on this discussion. India's #1 political team, always front and center on the big stories, politically speaking. Remember, 10 big elections this year and the big one next year. But talking about Rahul Gandhi and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, yesterday was another occasion for a big flashpoint. This is because Prime Minister Narendra Modi used the occasion of inaugurating a big helicopter factory by HAL to launch an attack on Rahul Gandhi, nearly 4 years after Rahul Gandhi suggested that the Modi government had cheated Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Take a look.
Remember Rahul Gandhi's disastrous 2019 war cry?
उन्होंने राफेल का भ्रष्टाचार किया, चोरी की, 30,000 करोड़ रुपए चोरी हुए। नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने 30,000 रुपए अनिल अंबानी को दिए। फ्रांस का राष्ट्रपति ने कहा
And his repeated attack alleging Prime Minister Modi had cheated HAL out of the Rafale fighter jet deal.
राफेल घोटाले में 30,000 करोड़ रुपए हिंदुस्तान के एयरफोर्स से चोरी करके नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने अनिल अंबानी के बैंक अकाउंट में जेब में डाला है।
The electorate rejected Rahul's rallying roar with contempt in 2019. But on Monday, 4 years after that disastrous campaign, Rahul found himself under target from the Prime Minister himself.
यही HAL है जिसे बहाना बनाकर हमारी सरकार पर तरह तरह के झूठे आरोप लगाए गए। झूठ कितना ही बड़ा क्यों न हो, कितनी ही बार बोला जाता हो, कितने ही बड़े लोगों से बोला जाता हो, एक न एक दिन वो सच के सामने हारता ही है।
Modi was on site near Bengaluru to inaugurate HAL's new giant helicopter factory. and decided there was no better podium from which to finally counter Rahul directly.
यही HAL है जिसका नाम लेकर लोगों को भड़काने की साजिश रची गई, लोगों को उकसाया गया, पार्लियामेंट के घंटे से घंटे तबाह कर दिए.
But the Congress party is having none of it. Rahul Gandhi's media manager Jairam Ramesh has not only countered by calling the PM a liar, but reviving the same allegations from 2019 that were debunked, denied by HAL's leadership and proven to be technically ill-informed.
After 4 years, Mr. Modi has got up and now he waked up and is praising about HAL. Therefore, the credit to save HAL, the credit to stand with HAL goes to Mr. Rahul Gandhi, who has exposed Mr. Modi.
Failure on the part of the UPA government at that time, which was known for its indecision, that they couldn't resolve the issues that were there between HAL and Dassault. And therefore, because of their inefficiency, incapacity, HAL had to suffer 20,000 crores, if I remember correctly, has been allocated to enhance its production capacity for the LCAs. So this has been done under the Modi government.
If Rahul Gandhi's campaign against the Modi government's Rafale deal was ineffectual in 2019, it has also failed to make the government skittish talking about the Rafale. No less than the finance minister spoke about the Rafale fleet on India Today on Monday.
Just look at the way in which Rafale, all the aircrafts landed in India per the time of the contract. Look at the way in which many of the things which are being made for defense is made in India. Those procurements are also for enhancing their abilities.
While the political crossfire escalates over HAL, looming elections in Karnataka will ensure it remains a talking point. But hard data is difficult to ignore. In the time since the Rahul Congress levelled allegations of HAL being cheated and neglected, the company has received orders worth billions of dollars for 83 Tejas fighters, 70 HTT-40 basic trainers, 12 light utility helicopters and 15 light combat helicopters, in addition to healthy numbers of its other products. With a big election year ahead, expect politics to take flight and soar. Bureau Report, India Today.
Senior BJP leader, former Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad responding after Rahul Gandhi's speech.
Let's परिवार के संस्कार. अब जरा वाड्रा साहब की बात कर लें. आपके बहनोई हैं, जीजा जी. ये शब्द मैं प्रयोग नहीं करता, लेकिन आज मुझे पीड़ा से करना पड़ रहा है कि नरेंद्र मोदी जी ऐसे ईमानदार नेता के ऊपर जिस तरह से शर्मनाक आरोप लगाए गए, तो आज राहुल गांधी के परिवार की सच्चाई बताना जरूरी है. अभी मैं बता रहा हूं. ये वाटर डीएलएफ घोटाला में क्या हुआ, कैसे 65 करोड़ का इंटरेस्ट फ्री लोन मिल गया आपको डीएलएफ से, और जमीन भी मिल गई, और आपने अपनी महंगी जमीन जो ली थी, सस्ती जमीन लिया और महंगे पर उनको बेच दिया. और बीकानेर में जमीन घोटाला हुआ, 1400 बीघा जमीन जाली नाम से खरीदी गई, उसमें 275 बीघा रॉबर्ट वाड्रा की कंपनी के लोगों ने जाली तरीके से खरीदा, उसमें एफआईआर लगा हुआ है. कोयला घोटाला 2012, आदर्श घोटाला, कॉमनवेल्थ घोटाला, इन सभी घोटालों को उजागर करने में थोड़ी हम लोग की भूमिका रही है पार्टी में विरोध विपक्ष के रूप में, और इस सबका ट्रायल चला है. 70,000 करोड़ कॉमनवेल्थ का, आदर्श घोटाला जो सेना के लिए आरक्षित जमीन थी, उसमें कौन कौन फायदे में आए, सुशील कुमार शिंदे, विलास राव देशमुख, अशोक चौहान कांग्रेस के नेता. कोयला घोटाला में तो साहब मत पूछिए, 1,86,000 करोड़ का घोटाला था. 2G स्पेक्ट्रम घोटाला, ये भी आपने देखा कैसे लाइसेंस जारी किए गए पिक एंड चूज पर, और देश में कितनी बड़ी संपत्ति का लॉस हुआ ये भी आप जानते हैं. 1,96,000 करोड़ का घोटाला था. बोफोर्स घोटाला, इसमें तो आपके पिताजी पर ही आरोप है, राहुल गांधी जी. और एक सज्जन थे कोतरोकी साहब, मामा जी कहते थे उनको भगाने में कितना काम किया गया. आज हम जानबूझकर इन चीजों को बताने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि किस तरीके से पिछले कई वर्षों में कांग्रेस पार्टी का इतिहास रहा और आपके परिवार का इतिहास रहा है भ्रष्टाचार करना और भ्रष्टाचार लोगों को संरक्षण देना। आप लोगों को एक परेशानी हो रही है। आज जब भारत में चीजें बनती हैं, आज भारत में सेना के आयुध बनते हैं, मोबाइल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग होती है, अब चिप्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग होने जा रही है, तो आपको परेशानी होती है। बहुत कारण स्वाभाविक है। आपकी पूरी सरकार डील और कमीशन में चलती थी और अगर डील नहीं हुई तो राफेल को भी इतना लेट किया गया, भले वायुसेना की मारक क्षमता कमजोर हो रही है। द होल इकोसिस्टम ऑफ कांग्रेस पार्टी इज बेस्ड अपॉन द ट्विन करप्ट पिलर्स ऑफ डील एंड कमीशन। तो आजकल कमीशन बंद हो गया है, इसलिए आपको परेशानी है। विजय माल्या को किसने बढ़ाया, उनको लोन पर लोन किसने दिया, और नीरव मोदी और मेहुल चौकसी के इवेंट्स में कौन जाया करता था? राहुल गांधी जी, आप तो जाया करते थे ना। आज तो कई फोटो आपके बारे में भी आ रही है, चलिए देखिए। कोई कार्रवाई नहीं की गई। नरेंद्र मोदी की सरकार सिर्फ बोलती नहीं है, ईमानदारी से करके दिखाती है। कानून के अनुसार आज डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर सीधा बैंक अकाउंट में 23 लाख करोड़ 8 साल में भेजे गए और 2,23,000 करोड़ बचाए गए, जो बिचौलिए खा जाया करते थे। आज कांग्रेस की सरकार में आपके पिताजी ने कहा था कि 1 रुपए दिल्ली से भेजते हैं तो 15 पैसे पहुंचते हैं। आज पूरे पैसे पहुंचते राहुल गांधी, इसलिए आपके लोगों को परेशानी है। आज टैक्स चोरों से करोड़ों की रिकवरी हो रही है। आज भागे हुए भगोड़ों को हिंदुस्तान में लाने का कार्रवाई हो रही है, चाहे वो मेहुल चोकसी हो या बाकी सब हों। और सट्टेबाज संजीव चावला का प्रत्यर्पण हुआ। बिचौलिया क्रिश्चियन मिशेल यूएई से आए। इंडोनेशिया से पकड़ा गया भगोड़ा कारोबारी विनय मित्तल, ये भी वापस आया। बहरीन से भगोड़ा आर्थिक घोटालेबाज मोहम्मद याह्या वापस आया। तो ये सब सबके सामने है। और हम एक बात और कहना चाहते हैं कि हमने कानून को भी सख्त किया है। फ्यूजिटिव इकोनॉमिक ऑफेंडर ऑर्डिनेंस लाया। आपने देखा होगा कि हम लोगों ने इंसॉल्वेंसी ऑफ बैंक्रप्सी कोड लाया। हम लोगों ने पूरे बेनामी लेन देन अधिनियम, बेनामी ट्रांजैक्शन एक्ट को भी और मजबूत किया और बाकी और कई कानून को, अनरेगुलेटेड डिपॉजिट स्कीम पर भी प्रिवेंशन का कानून लाया। तो हमने कानून से भ्रष्टाचार को रोका, निर्णय प्रक्रिया ईमानदारी से की और जो भगोड़े थे उनको वापस लाया और लाएंगे। और राहुल गांधी, आपसे क्या उम्मीद करें? आप तो खुद ही आरोपी थे भ्रष्टाचार में परिवार के साथ। तो ये आपका रिकॉर्ड है। लेकिन हम आपसे उम्मीद करते थे कुछ तथ्यों पर बोलेंगे। आज भी वही हवाबाजी, लफबाजी और बेबुनियाद आरोप। और जब पूछा गया कानून के द्वारा कि आप उनको ऑथेंटिकेट करिए, मैं करूंगा, उन्होंने ऑथेंटिकेट भी नहीं किया, न कोई रिकॉर्ड पेश किया। तो भारत के नरेंद्र मोदी ऐसे ईमानदार नेता के खिलाफ ये बेबुनियाद आरोप, तो मैं एक ही कहूंगा, राहुल गांधी, आप थोड़ा सबक से, अनुभव से सीखते क्यों नहीं हैं? 19 में चौकीदार कहा था ना, कहां चले गए आप? अब फिर आप कुछ खुराफात कर रहे हैं। तो 24 में आपको जनता और प्रभावी रूप से जवाब देगी। धन्यवाद।
रविशंकर जी, आपने स्पीकर से आपने कहा था कि सारी चीजें रिकॉर्ड से हटा दी जाए क्योंकि तथ्यों के साथ पेश नहीं किया गया। तो क्या ऑन रिकॉर्ड आप लोग मांग करेंगे लोकसभा अध्यक्ष से?
देखिए, हमने हाउस में कहा है, बाकी संसदीय कार्य मंत्री देखेंगे। रूल्स ऑफ प्रोसीजर की धारा 353 में स्पष्ट है कि कोई आरोप आप लगाते हैं या इंक्रिमिनेटिंग भी आरोप लगाते हैं तो आपको बकायदे उसकी नोटिस देनी पड़ेगी और संबंधित डॉक्यूमेंट देना पड़ेगा। तो आपने वो कुछ तो किया नहीं, आपने पूरा भाषण देखा है, सुना है। थैंक यू। रूल 353 353 है। क्या कहना है बताइए साहब? तो अंग्रेजी चल में हिंदी दिखाते हैं ना।
Ravi Shankar Prasad there in a rebuttal to Rahul Gandhi, taking examples of Robert Vadra and other relations that he says exposes the hypocrisy of the Gandhi family and the Congress party leadership. So Rahul Gandhi there has received a rebuttal from Ravi Shankar Prasad. Expect more to come in from the government on prime time tonight.